Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having us here. And thanks to the organizers, Crossroads, and every volunteer here that has organized this, this event. So for me, gender equality means, in my own words really, and having grown up in a family where gender equality was practiced and being raised by a feminist father, in that there was equal access to education, to opportunities in our households. You were never told you're a girl, so you can wait a bit for your education. Everybody had the same equal access. Whatever school you wanted to go to, that you had researched and found that it would serve you as a girl or a boy in our family, you were sent to that school because we were allowed to make our own choices right from the beginning. So having that voice to voice what you needed and what will meet your needs as a woman or as a boy. So, and also really equal household chores. Nobody will say, no, my boy, I can't wash the dishes or whatever. Everybody washed the dishes, everybody cleaned the house, everybody cooked. So I've never known any other way in my life. And so at times I feel like I'm the wrong person to talk about gender equality, you know, and how I came to be such a champion, but I am. And so equal access to education and making sure that everybody has freedom, equal access to employment, fair pay, equal pay for the job that is being done. So for me, gender equality means all of that, and I'm going to stop because I'm sure you.
Thank you, Wazi. And I think that's also what makes you a great champion, that you've had that privilege of having that parity, that equality, and even the parity and equity within the unpaid care work at the home. So that has translated into the work you've done with our partner organization. So thank you. Derrick, what about for you?
Thank you very much. To me, equality means that you shouldn't treat me differently because I am a male or female. We should all have the same thing that we need to succeed. And in my home, we do the same thing. In my house, I cook. Even I can say I cook more than my wife. So, because I feel that we all have the same capabilities, we just need to be treated the same. And it's not in terms of male and female per se. Like I was in school in Russia, so my first day, the professor came and then gave them some sheets. I think it was like a math for them to solve. And when he came to me, he left. So they were all like busy doing their work. So I called the professor, why? And he said, oh, just sit down. I was like, no, can I try it too? So he came to give me a sheet, and then it was like mathematics. That was calculus. So like I solved it, and then like I took it to him, and some of my colleagues were still trying to solve. So when the time came to him, and he tried to look at my work, and when he found out that I have scored all of them, he started to talk. Why is, Derrick from Ghana, they have no books, they are nothing there, they live on trees, so why is he knowing this more than you? I didn't tell him that, we don't have books, right? So I think we should give people the same thing for them to, move forward. Yeah, whether they are female or male, they should have equal everything to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Derrick. So this is equality for all in all our diversities and all our identities. So, which is intersectionality, which is key to Crossroads and our programmings as well. So thank you, Derrick. And Christine, what is equality to you?
Yes, thank you. I think equality or gender equality to me is just the breaking down of barriers that hinder particularly girls and women from daring to dream or daring to take on opportunities. I think it's also just systems that encourage or empower everyone, regardless of their sex or their gender, to thrive and to just be the best that they can be.
Thank you. So it's echoing similar thoughts, and I'm sure all of you are having the same sentiments of breaking the systemic barriers that have existed for all types of inequalities and intersecting identities as well. So now we would move to some of our panel questions so that we hear more in-depth stories of the impactful volunteer experiences they've had. So I'll start with Wazi again. So my question to you is, reflecting on your personal journey as a passionate advocate for gender equality, and of course through your volunteering, could you share with us the things that you're most proud of from your experiences with Crossroads that has impacted and changed you as well at the same time?
Yeah, thank you so much, Helena. So I'll just give a little bit of my background, although I guess I did just when you asked me the first question. Sorry, glasses here. I can't see well anymore. So as I said, then I came from a family that was very much supportive of education, especially for girls at that time. Being born in the 60s, there were a lot of families around us that thought girls shouldn't get the same opportunity or access to education as boys, because the girls are going to go on and get married and have families and stay home. So that was my father's focus and dreams for us as girls for the future, that you get your education, you find your career, you make your own decisions whether you want to get married or not. And it's up to you. For me, I think, or for him, his goal was that you find your happy ending and you do what you want to do and make your own decisions no matter where you find yourself in. So, and also being encouraged to speak up and express yourself. That was really a key, I think, for me personally. And then I remember Joy as well, that I didn't shut up, And yeah, I was the one in my house that asked the very, very tough questions to my parents. And so for me, being raised in such a family really gave me this self-confidence, self-esteem, and to find my way through the world. And I'm forever grateful to my parents. So the way then I really got on this journey, it was also from there that, having champions in life to look up to as a girl. And not only that, encouraging other girls around me, that you can do this, you can get your education, you can determine your future or what your future is going to look like. And I am aware that not everyone in my country was raised in such a family. And so I'm forever grateful for that. And also having the opportunity then to teach. My first job was a teacher in high school, and encourage girls, get your education, don't be distracted. There will be time for all those things that you think are important right now. You'll have plenty of time to do those later. And so I did my first degree, as Helena said, in education, and then I went on to do my master's degree in public health, came back, was given the opportunity as the first epidemiologist in the country to do work that focused mainly on HIV/AIDS. As you know, in the early 90s, we were just getting into that AIDS epidemic. And I am proud of the work that I did as an epidemiologist and working on all of that. So when I came to Canada in '95, as Helena said, I got a job with the Centre for Disease Control, the Public Health Agency of Canada, doing public health work. But then the calling came to go back to my educational background, and I'm so happy I did, because that opportunity gave me a chance to work with women directly and work in an organization led by women and focusing on women's empowerment, building their capacity, focusing on their goals as well. So what are your goals in life? What do you want to do? And one of the things that I'm very proud of was creating a scholarship that still runs today that support women to get their higher education in the organization I worked for. Sorry, my mic was over there. So I have worked in Canada. I've worked with immigrant serving organizations throughout the country, and proud of the work that they have accomplished with support from my organization and myself. And so, Crossroads. So Crossroads, I had heard about it about 25 to 30 years ago in Eswatini. I met a volunteer that was doing work in Eswatini, Crossroads. By then I was young, I had children to raise and mainly focused on that. And then when I came to Canada, I don't know any time in my life in Canada that I haven't volunteered. I've sat in a number of boards, Vancouver Foundation, the BC Association of Neighborhood Houses, many immigrant organizations, including Umoja. So for the last 20, 25 years to 30 years, that's all I think I can remember. And as Joe said, it's a lot of work to have your full-time work, volunteer work, and children to raise at the same time. But I enjoyed that time so much that when I retired in 2021, before then, so when I heard about Crossroads in 2008, it was through a friend of mine, Farah Shroff. I think she was a board member and advisory to Crossroads. I don't remember exactly what. She's a professor at UBC currently. And so she said, Wazi, come with me. There'll be someone from Swaziland speaking from Swaga. It's one of the partners in Swaziland that Crossroads support. So anyway, so I went with her. That was 2008. Just moved. I was just moved by the work that Crossroads is doing all over the world. So I decided that from then on, I'll be a monthly donor to Crossroads. And so I did that throughout my career in Canada until, of course, I retired and I had no money. And no money to give. But now I'm so happy that I am here and I have my time. I'm retired now and I have my time to give back to Crossroads. So I am really excited. So my first mandate with Crossroads then in 2023, as Helena said, was a curriculum development advisor to one of our partners in Eswatini called Waka Indota. It's an organization that mainly focuses on male positivity, yes, for males and young boys and males, and just thoroughly enjoyed that shift from me working with women and now working with men, and it was very interesting and very educational, and allowed me to really immerse myself in this organization. But what was great about it being supported by Crossroads is that they did have a lot of opportunities to include girls in their curriculum or whatever, in their projects. So that was very, very interesting to me. And then my second volunteer then is mandate with Crossroads. I've been a volunteer support advisor for the last year, and that really expanded my knowledge and what the different partners do. Because when you get there as a volunteer, you really tend to focus on the partner that you're assigned to. So having to know all these partners, and so far then I've worked with two partners with my expertise in curriculum development and training, and I've supported two, and I'm looking forward to going back Monday and supporting a third and a fourth, and etc. until I think I've moved around with everybody. So my learning through all of this is that I have enjoyed getting to know the volunteers, and I really so proud of the work that they do. They get there and just focus on their work But at the same time, as a volunteer support advisor, I also want them to have fun, socialize, for their mental health, and have some downtime and things like that. So I've really grown as a person, and with all my experience over the years, so I'm probably the older one here amongst all volunteers, but I'm really excited as well going back for my third mandate at Crossroads. Thank you.
Thank you, Wazi, and thank you once again, for your continuous support to Crossroads, both as a donor and then, of course, your technical time. And I think you raised a good example of some of the partners and the work they do on the male engagement. Kwaka Ndiboza being the leading organization in Eswatini that works with boys and men and at-risk youth as well, and teaching them what it means to be a man, what it means to be a boy. And they've had really successful projects on one called the Fatherhood Project, where they engage fathers in the community and teach them about gender equality, women's economic empowerment, and of course empowerment in general. And then also the aim is to reduce cases of sexual and gender-based violence in the community, which has a high prevalence, and which also comes with a high prevalence of HIV/AIDS, like Wazi has shared. So I just want to, before I go to other direct questions to our Christine and Derrick, I wanted to ask either of you, you can jump in and respond. We talk about equitable partnerships, right, when we're doing development work, and one of the things is when you go as a volunteer, you're going to share your expertise and build, technical capacity. But at the same time, there would be a shift where from, the expert, then you also become the learner. Like you're no longer a teacher or a capacity builder, but you have a moment where you've learned something, it's a new thing for you. So if there's a moment that stands out in your mandates where you have shifted that role of expert teacher to a learner that you can share with us.
Yeah, sure. So when I first started working with Crossroads in 2021, my first mandate was in northern Ghana, in Tamale, with Norsac, and I had never been to Tamale. My parents are from Accra. I've lived in Accra, so all my experiences, all that I know is like life in Accra. And so going into Tamale, I went in with certain understandings or thoughts or assumptions, I would say. And for example, I had no idea that child marriages were still a thing. And so I had gone up to northern Tamale, and I wasn't even thinking, that didn't even cross my mind that that would be an issue I'd have to consider or things like that. So going into Tamale, very different from Accra. I met a lot of young girls from the university who had to be advocates for themselves and had to fight for their own freedoms and things. And so not really perceiving that, I went in and I had to try and unlearn everything I learned or knew and listen to them, and became the student where they told me their experiences, they taught me the systems that work, which honestly, if I had gone in with what I had known and tried to impose it, it would have been a disaster. So it was good that I was open enough and had the understanding to be able to kind of be humble and learn from them and learn what they had to share with me, and that really helped me. So.
Derrick, I know you mentioned the unconscious bias already you faced from the Russian professor, so maybe there's something you had also learned from in Ghana.
I think I always go there to learn, and if I learn, then I do a lot of things. And I think I don't go there as somebody there that I know to teach or to help. Because of the past, what I have faced, there was a project that I work on, and when I go to Ghana, there was a first meeting. So they came in, and then they said, okay, Derrick, where are the white Canadians? So, oh, okay. So they told me that, oh, so you came by yourself? Yeah. Okay. Are you really serious? So yeah. Okay. So they created that kind of impression that, oh, you are a black person. We need to learn from a white person. So I told them, fine, if in case you don't need me, I will go back. So when I came back to Canada, I told them what is the case. And since then, when we are going, my supervisor will tell me, Derrick, can you write all what you think we should do? And I'll just simply use my white face to go there to present. So, okay. So that is what I have been going through. So when this chance came for me to go back to volunteer, I went there to learn. I didn't go there as somebody with, like I know this and that and I am coming to help. So my first time I told them, hey, I am here to learn and then to see how best we could support you. So I have always approached it from that perspective, because for what I know, when you go there as the person that you know more, they expect you to be a white person. So I have never had issue with that to switch always. Like I learn from them, and what I can do, I do it, and at the end, they come to thank me for your work. So I think it's all like about knowing many things and then seeing when to switch. When do you feel that you have to tell them that I can do this thing for you? So I have been playing, the role of listening to them more, and by listening to them more, I get to understand them more and to also contribute.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Derrick. So now I'll come back to Christine for a question to you to share some of your experiences. So, we prioritize at Crossroads local leadership in all of our works and our projects. And I think the short video we have shown at the beginning, some of the volunteers were sharing those experiences as well. So can you share with us how you supported or witnessed, local leadership in action during some of your volunteering opportunities in Ghana?
Yes, so I'll start with my first mandate at NORSAC. For me, after learning that, taking in all the stories and the experiences from the young girls that I worked with from the universities and all that, it was important for me to leave them with something that they felt that they could own. And so I used my volunteer capacity project to empower them. So the first one was the NORCOM project, which took interns that would come in frequently to NORSAC, and it was teaching these young girls communication skills. So teaching them photography, teaching them, photography, teaching them public relations, teaching them photo editing or video editing. And the idea with that was NORSAC at the time didn't really have a lot in terms of communications, and I was the communications manager. But we had in all these young girls who had stories to share, who had, they needed opportunities basically. And so the idea behind that was teach them and then also empower them to take the skills, use it to help the organization, but then also teach other girls who are coming in. So kind of like a pay-it-forward system. And with that, I realized how much that empowered them to now go out and start their own organizations. Now they're better able or better equipped to tell their stories, to put them forward. Like there's one girl named Faiza now who literally goes around Tamale, goes into remote villages, and she's like an exceptional photographer now. She tells great stories, she does films and all that. And it's like she's leading other girls to do the same in her community. And I think that was really important, and that's how I tried to support them. And similarly in Accra, when I was doing my mandate with Dunk, Dunk is a sports for development organization, so they try to empower people from they try to empower the youth from underserved communities through basketball specifically, and arts and crafts, and like learning new trades, painting, arts and all that. And there's a lot of girls that come in from the surrounding neighborhoods, from Jamestown, from Nima, from Agege, and they just want an opportunity to just play sports. And a lot of times they're met with resistance because they'll go to the basketball courts and people will be looking at them funny or saying like, you're a girl, you're not supposed to be playing sports, like go home and cook or go home and clean, and that kind of thing. And these are really talented girls, and I don't know if any of you saw the breakfast, the Crossroads they are the girl child breakfast. The girls from there are from Dunk, and they're from Nima and Gege and Jamestown, but they're really bright young girls, they're really talented, they're amazing basketball players, but they don't really get the opportunities to shine and to do the things that they wanted to do. So for me, it was really important to, one of their youth advocates at Dunk, sorry, let me backtrack. The way Dunk works is they have a lot of youth volunteers who have committed their time to teach other people in the community, one, to play basketball, one, to just get off the streets and do things that are better serving of their time and not gonna get them into trouble. So we have, there's 3 locations, and in each location they have these volunteers. And one of them came up to me and he's like, Christine, you've become really close with the girls, and we're all boys, so sometimes there's issues that the girls face and they don't really have anybody to talk to, and they don't have anybody to help them through these situations. So is there anything you could do? And I thought about it and I was like, well, I want to do something that will empower them and help them to just be better and just be greater than have the opportunities and the resources that they need. And so the She Rises Empowerment Conference was born out of that. And the conference was mainly to just bring everyday people. We weren't looking for people at the top of the food chain or people who were hard to aspire to, but a female banker, a female entrepreneur who is doing great in her industry, and bringing them together to talk to these young girls and to just help them to know that whatever they want to do is not so far off, that it's attainable. And so for the first year, we had a girl called Nana, who's a professional violinist, and that's her full-time job. She just goes around playing the violin every day, and she are so supportive of one another. They have like a family, they're very close, and so they're big sisters to each other, and you see it trickling down because what they learn, they pass it on to other people. And so for me, that's how I tried to make sure that, well, how I saw local leadership, and I didn't really do anything, I just kind of tried to like help push it further a little, to say. So yeah, that was it for me.
Thank you very much, Christine. And I think you brought in the voice of the youth, which is good because my next question for Derrick is about the youth as well. And in your work when you were volunteering in Ghana, and I know it was in the sector of the agribusiness, climate smart agriculture, and climate adaptation, but oftentimes in most development work, youth are seen as recipients or beneficiaries of programs instead of leaders, designers, or co-creators. So if you can share with us good success stories of when youth were being recognized as leaders in the community to create, speak about their needs, create the solutions, and lead on those solutions as well.
Correct. Thank you very much. First, what I think is that mostly young people are being seen as, taken away. I always say this, that when people are saying a lot of things about you, and you want to prove to them that that is not true, you need to do more for their own selves. You can't tell them to change their minds if they are not going to do that. So what I always say is that know yourself very well. And one of the example is I went to Russia to study for 6 years. That's where I had my their bachelor's degree in finance. When I was going there, my parents were very, very sad. And because I heard a lot of things about there, and going there was not good. When I went there, sometimes somebody will see me, they will throw a banana on me. I will pick them up and just eat it. But some of my colleagues who from Ghana, they will start to fight with them. A professor will come to class, and when I go sit far, he will ask, "Where is Derrick?" And I'll just say, "I'm here." "You are too black, so when you go far, I can't see you." Okay. Sometimes I will be there, somebody will see me, "Can I touch your skin?" So I knew all of these things, and my friends have been telling me, "How come that you end up being very close to them?" Because I felt that they don't know me, and that they need to get to know me. It is a fight I am not going to pick up, because it is a fight I am not going to win. So what I always tell the young people, that people will always see us as the one to, take away from people. So we have to make them move our own selves. But what we need to do more to support young people is, first of all, to create what, like I would say, inclusivity in terms of decision making. We should make the young people to be part of it. In fact, Singapore has done very well in terms of inclusivity, because I always say it leads to sustainability. Once you don't leave anybody behind in the community, we all feel the same, and then we can build. Another thing too is that young people, we should build their capacity. And in terms of it, even Crossroads, what we can do more to make young people feel that they are part and parcel of it is, for example, we are taking young Canadians to go to these countries. We will have to make sure that the programs that they are going to perform, they are coming back with some skills or experience or something to start off that will build them. It's not always the case that the beneficiaries will have to be the one to gain. The people going there too, there must be a path for them that when they come back, they also feel empowered to contribute to this country. And my other point is that we should encourage intergenerational collaborations. Canada, so many people, older people who have really achieved a lot. How do we get the young people to learn from them? This is very crucial to ensure that the country continues to thrive. And my other point is that there is always some power issues here. So how do we make young people to feel that their voices are going to be heard? The same thing as when we are going as either learners or someone to gain, because if we are taking somebody from the school to go to, for example, Tanzania to volunteer there, the question is that, oh, you have just finished school, what do you know? Okay? To me, what we can do more to support the person is that, what are the goals of the person? How is this experience going to help them to build their life? So once we have more focus on that, then I think we can set our youth up to succeed anywhere we actually go per se. And then my last thing too is that anywhere that we go, we should always see ourselves as coming to learn. So once you have the mindset, even if you know, pretend that you don't know. Learn from people. I have always found out that when you talk too much, there is a conversation, you jump into it, you are offering all things, you will miss some point. So we should develop the art of listening to people. Once you listen more, you are able to build your whole life. I raised this point at I don't know whether it was with Alex or Yaheda. So, like I was saying this thing about the VCP program. I have had a chance to travel to at least 10 African countries. And even in the remote places, I see Chinese people there. When they send their people there, they come there to learn. So sometimes they go to certain places and then they try to find out what they need. For example, Ghana, there is this food that they call fufu. I think most of you who have been there before have heard about this before. Okay? They have to pound it like this. It is a hard work. But now the Chinese people came, and it was a young Chinese who came and found out, oh, this is a whole job for them. Why can't I create something and then sell it back? So this is part of it. We should set them up for them to succeed. They are going there to help, but they are also going there to learn and how to come back and then build themselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Derrick. And I think that's a very powerful message. When I remember we had campaigns of for women, nothing without us, nothing for us without us. So it's the same for the youth, nothing for the youth, without having them around the table to have that decision-making power and co-create the solutions that they want, and also giving them the intergenerational sharing of experiences and knowledges so that they can also have the skills that they need to thrive in that sphere. So
thank you, everyone. Thank you to Crossroads International for putting this event together. It's been an enjoyable experience so far, and getting the experience from the panelists has also been insightful. My name is Mohammed, a stakeholder associate from Black North Initiative here in Toronto. My question is, what are some goals that you had before your volunteer mandate, whether professional or personal? Derrick, you mentioned it's also important to understand what it is that you're looking to get out of the experience in order to make most of it. So what was your personal or professional goals that you had, and how did the volunteer mandate help you accomplish or reach those goals, or did you find new avenues of inspiration or new goals that you wanted to pursue during your volunteer mandate? But that's my question to any of you that would like to answer. Thank you again for your insights.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. I think before I joined Crossroads, or maybe WUSC was my first. Yeah, so I traveled with WUSC, that was in 2022. Being both Canadian and also Ghanaian, I have seen that Canada is basically taking off from the continent. When you mention Canada, they see aid. That is it. They don't see trade or whatever that will also benefit Canadians. And I have seen that we send a lot of funds to train, for example, key people, learn some skills about trade, set up their companies, and then to trade with other countries. Okay? I have concerns with that. So I wanted to see what can be built to support that will be mutually beneficial to Canada and to the countries that we support. So I basically went there to learn more, and through the learning, I have been able to set up a company. This year we had our first summit in Saskatchewan. We have almost about 100 companies all over from the like African countries and over 62 from Canada. They came on one platform to talk. Currently, the trade that has been going on, some of them are buying farm and the machinery is over $100 million. Next year, we are gonna host the summit, a big one. So I think those were my professional goals, and now they are coming apart. I'm looking forward to volunteer with CI. This time, like I want to go to the southern part because I want to get more people to understand the perspective too from the Canadian side and what Canada has been doing to support them and why we need each other. So those are my goals. Thank you.
I think, I remember when I was in U of T and I was studying international development and having lived in Ghana, like all I could think of was going back to Ghana and changing the world and developing the country like never before. I was young and naive, obviously it takes more than one person, but I think one of my goals has always just been to inspire people, especially young girls. I'm the last born, so I've always wanted to be like a big sister and like have like younger sisters who I could inspire and talk to and encourage. And I got to be like a big sister to like so many girls I can't even count now through this through working with like Dunk especially. Like I have so many young girls now that look up to me that I get to inspire all the time, and every time I go back to Ghana I see them and I see how much they've grown and all that. So that's one of the goals that I had and I actually got to do. But it was also just about painting. For me it was initially before I had joined Crossroads, I wanted to paint Ghana in a better light than I had seen it living here. I wanted the world to see what Ghana really was. I wanted people to see that it's not people living in trees or anything like that, but there's so much more. Like it's culturally rich, it's resource rich, it's a beautiful place, and not just Ghana, but like all across Africa. So that was my goal.
Do I have time to say anything?
Yes, go ahead. And then I see we have a question at the back.
I'll be very short. I think for me, my first mandate, for instance, and I've done similar work through my capacity building project in 2 organizations, was to really help develop a more meaningful, training program for their beneficiaries, and as well as really having those opportunities to interact with the beneficiaries that Crossroads support and to find out firsthand what the needs are and how we can further support those needs, or really looking internally, how internally the country itself can support those needs of the youth. And I have to say that Eswatini it's only about 1.2 million people, so it's very tiny. And some things really kind of, I don't know, I think achievable in my opinion. And I know the Swazi government has really geared itself and increased the support for youth in starting their own employment or businesses, simply because there is just high unemployment amongst youth, in that country. So seeing that and seeing that support and the work that Crossroads have done and I've done with the 2 organizations so far that I've worked at, mostly about entrepreneurship, developing their own business and developing that training program. You see youth take it up, and actually I am happy to say I've hired some of those youth for some of the things I wanted to do too, in my little things. Thank you.
Thank you, Wazi. I think there was a question at the back, and then we'll come back here. Yeah, we'll take 2, and then. Okay, go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Maha Babikar. I'm the manager of counseling services at the Barbarish Life River Clinic, and we are a proud organization to be partners with Crossroads International, and I'm honored to be here today. Can I ask 2 questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
In your opinion, what emerging global trends should gender equality organizations prepare for in the next 5 to 10 years? And what have been the biggest lesson for you from collaborating across regions with different cultural norms, political environment, and legal systems? Thank you.
Thank you, Maha. And can we also take the question here, and then I'll give the panel opportunity to respond. Hi, everyone. Is it off?
Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Rodan, and I'm an ambassador here at Sisters in Sync, so I guess I'm also a volunteer. My question is, so as a serial volunteer and a lover of the community, how do you encourage organizations to sell volunteerism or sell a position in a way that just doesn't only look as, how do you say, like giving up the opportunity to make money, but to do more than just like to serve them?
Okay, thank you. So, you want to start, Wazi?
Yes, I wanted to start with the first question. Can you remind me what it was again?
Yes.
Okay.
So the first one was with the emerging trends for the next 5 years.
Absolutely. Yes. I think my one most fear with this emerging trend, and maybe some of you have heard about it, this traditional wife, that is now seem to be gaining speed and really eroding all that work that we've done to empower women, to lift up women, to make their own determination, to have their own careers, and work for their money, because I think it's important for women to be able to do that and don't depend on the husband or the boyfriend or whatever. So for me, that's one thing that is making me nervous. And I'm hoping as gender equality, gender equity organizations, we're doing more, to talk about that, to really highlight it as something that we should really cut it at the root, or whatever we need to do. I don't know what we need to do, but we need to be talking about it and ensuring that our girls understand the importance of empowerment, of having your own determination, of making your own choices, and literally your rules in life, because you decided and we supported you in getting to where you want to get. So I'm hoping that all of us working across cultures, working across the world internationally, that we're really highlighting this, because I'm not just seeing it in North America. I'm also seeing it in the African context as well, where girls think looking pretty. I was never told I was beautiful growing up. I was told I was very smart. I can be whatever I wanted to be. And really emphasizing that to girls, that you are very smart. You can be whatever you want to be. Instead of thinking, oh, you're so beautiful. You don't have to do much. You just have to look pretty, and someone will take care of you. And I think we just need to focus on that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think for the next 5 years, I would say some of the biggest threats, or maybe something that might come up for like the organizations like those that they support females, I would say funding. We have heard about the state like Trump cutting down, aid and then all of these things. So I would simply say things are changing. The more harder things become, the less funding for certain things that countries think that is not necessary to them. So how do we position ourselves to make sure that we continue to try it? Is first of all, I think focusing on females, if we are supporting them, going to countries, how do we ensure that they come back with some skills that will translate into economic benefits for even for Canada and also for the countries that they have gone there. So for me, that is what I see as a trend coming. We have built a lot of on this. We know how it works to support females, but how do we get the people who are going to fund this thing to understand that they are simply not going there to share their skills and then just come back. It should translate into some benefit to the countries who are paying for that. So that is a threat. If we don't find a way to rebrand things, a time might come we might not get the funding to support some of these things. So to me, that is what I can say. I can jump into your question too. I think you mentioned something that when you take part in the volunteering, people see that maybe it's for money or something like that, if I got you right.
I think most people shy away from volunteering because even they don't take it seriously. I feel like they just feel like it's just free labor and it's just to help somewhere, but what really do they get from it? So how can businesses sell in a way?
Yes. Thank you so much. So that also relates back to this. We will need to ensure that the people who are taking part in it, what are their goals? Like I think Mohammed asked something like, if they feel that, oh, I am a young, maybe female Canadian, like I would like to see how do I become, entrepreneurial? How do I help people? Because if you are somebody who wants to lead, then the goal is to help. Help is not free. Doesn't mean that it is free. You are gonna sell your help to them. So I think we will have to ensure that the people going into it, they have some purpose, and people don't see them as all. They don't see themselves as going there to volunteer for free. I remember somebody telling me that one of the partners said, oh, so the money that they give to you, don't you have like a better job to do in Canada than to come here? So I think I would say as far as we continue to give, we have to make sure that the people taking part in it, there is a purpose for them. There's a real benefit for them to take part in it. Thank you.
Maha, what was the second question?
What have been the biggest lessons for you from collaborating across regions with different cultural norms, political environment, and legal systems?
Sorry, one more time. So, what was the lessons learned from you collaborating with different partners, different cultures, different, political, legal landscapes? So, how has it been? What was the biggest lesson learned from that?
So for me, I think my biggest lesson was just understanding that there's so much to be done. In terms that there's lots of good work being done. There's a need for help, especially from governments. A lot of the governments aren't doing enough to support the organizations that are just trying to make the systems that they are failing to address. They're trying to make them better and they're not getting the help. And so for me, the greatest lesson would also be just finding creative ways. There's a need for creativity to explore other avenues to just get the job done. And it's not going to be easy, but I hope with Crossroads. And I think I hope I answered your question. And I think for me, there was a time where I remember when it was companies looked for volunteering on your resume. When you're applying for a job, they want to see that you have some kind of volunteer experience. I think we've lost track of the idea that volunteering is not just giving away free time. It's you are not only, you're honing skills you might not have had, or you're uncovering skills, you're learning new things, you're sharpening skills, you're improving yourself. And I think we need to find a way to encourage. I remember when I was with Dunk, the volunteers that come there, even though they're committed, they always struggle to get more volunteers in. And it was like, if you're not doing anything at home and you're aspiring to something, why not take that time to learn something that can help you be better for free? Like don't see it as you giving away free time, but see it as you actually getting free education. So I think if we're able to go back to that kind of mindset and help people understand that volunteering works both ways, then there's hope.
Thank you so much. And I think to maybe answer a bit of Maha's question, it always becomes like we've seen where volunteers need to contextualize some of their work, because the technical capacities they have does not necessarily, fit the solution that is needed to support some of the partners. So they go as learners as well, as they all said, where they try to learn and understand the perspectives, the dynamics, the landscape the partner organizations are operating in order to co-create and contextualize tools and resources that could work and be sustainable as well. So thank you all. Thank you very much to our trio here. We look forward to having you engage and network with everyone.